Okay, now, Assalamualaikum and warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And then, good evening. We start our class tonight. We're going to continue on the topic of technology. I'm going to go to this topic. This is also live on my YouTube. That's why I took some time just now because I have to set up again. This is another notebook. So let's go to the topic of technology. And we're going to study tonight how technology develops and what is needed for technology to really develop in a way that will benefit the country through research and development, and not only benefit the country, benefit the firms that will do actually the innovation and selling the products to the market, domestic and global market. So we're gonna use the pages from this textbook here. You're free to give me feedback anytime. It's not showing yet.
Doctor, are you presenting your screen?
So when we talk about process of technological change is a process, and we can look at in two types of models: the linear model, and the other one is the iterative model. So linear model is simply a basic setup for us to understand how that process of tech change happens. But in reality, it is not actually linear model. It is the second one, which is iterative. That's next page.
Yep. Doctor, are you presenting your screen?
Oh, I didn't share the screen. Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. So we're going to study technological change as a process. And one way of looking at technological changes to look at how it happens, which the first one here, it is the linear model. The linear model here. The other one will be in the second page, the iterative model. Linear model is only for us to understand the basic, but in reality, tech change is not a linear process. It is an iterative with feedbacks, going back loop kind of process, which is the next page. Oh, sorry. The second page, which is the model is iterative. It's not showing. Oh, I have to stop the other. Okay, this the iterative. Uh, so I want you to know, to be sure here. You can see, right? Still on the top is this only heading of this book. So every page of title here, heading. This is not linear model. Don't be misled by this. When you see this is the word linear model, no, this doesn't refer to the one at the bottom. This is only heading of the page of the book. So here it is the iterative model. Unlike the linear model, you see the loop going back and forth. And you see here, there's a research. Basically, on the top here is the basic research. Whereas inside this box at the bottom here, it is the applied research. So we're going to study the difference between basic and applied research. They are not the same. And who performed basic, who performed applied research. Basically, it goes down to whether the effort will give you the return. The basic research is always usually done by universities and government research institute. because the results will become public goods, which almost everyone else will benefit from their results. So basic research is to move the frontier of knowledge, to move the border, the frontier, the horizon of knowledge further in fields or whatever fields, in physics, mathematics, in sciences, in engineering. We're talking about a new theory, new understanding, new concept, and to move the frontier of knowledge in whatever field, usually in science and engineering and mathematics, that will contribute to technological change and development. Whereas the applied research are done by private firms. Private firms will not do basic research because of the returns and the cost and the return. You spend money, efforts, human resource for R&D, basic research, basic research, but you're not getting the full amount, the appropriate, what I call this, propriety return in full, because the result of basic research will become public goods. So here, this new knowledge from basic research will inform this area, becomes general knowledge, and also will inform the firm, and the firm will do the applied research. And through that, you see the arrow up and down, information coming from the general knowledge that comes from basic research, and also information, new findings in technology and applications come from applied research by the firms, and this will inform the first stage, which is to come up with a concept of a product to be developed. And before they start that, they will do the market survey to see the potential market, and then invent and or produce analytical design, and then detailed design and test, redesign and produce, this manufacture, and then distribute to the market. Suppose they're not able to sell well, so they go back, maybe the design, a flaw in the design, go back. Maybe there was a flaw in the test, if still cannot sell well, they go back here. Maybe the prototype model was ill-conceived, still not selling, go back. Or maybe they got it wrong with the potential of the markets. And this can happen in the fast changing technology today. What you consider sellable today, quickly in next few years you cannot sell it anymore because technology changes. So this is iterative. So feedback and interactions in the process of innovation. Now, next is number 3, page 3. Page 3. So, what I spoke about, basic and applied research, basic usually done by universities and government research institute. Although some, but that's not the general rule, some is conducted at the central lab of a large firms, but this is very rare. There are indeed good reasons for firms to engage in basic research, even though we say right away from the beginning, basic research are mostly done by the universities and government research institute or public research institute, not by private firms, basic research. Because the return will be little, cannot commensurate with the amount spent. So private firms will not do basic research. They will do applied research, taking the knowledge, the new frontier knowledge that came from basic research. Now they do applied research. So, but however, good reasons for firms to engage in basic research only because of there is a first mover advantage. I shouldn't say only because, mainly because of, there could be other reason, mainly because of the first mover advantage. The outcome of basic research is not basic. It's not a package of information or knowledge, but rather basic research, especially conducted in universities and research institutes, constitute the principal means of training new researchers. So government will subsidize basic research, and This is an example. I just put on an example of the news yesterday. I think I need to close some applications running in the back. My notebook is slow. For example, here from yesterday, to spend 2.1 trillion won on basic research. I want to emphasize the word basic. So the government will spend money, will increase investment into basic research this year to help the country strengthen competitiveness in technology. Support to pure theory. The ministry said it has newly created a creative research category, a new category, to give financial support, which is to subsidize, to pure theory and concept research. So again, we see basic research is to move the frontier of knowledge, the theory and the concepts, and why the government is doing it, because to be ahead of other nation and subsidizing the research through universities and government research institute, so that this will give an edge for the country in the latest knowledge in the fields engineering, mathematics, and sciences, so that this will be picked up by the nation's companies to do applied research. This is example. So Rosenberg and Nelson show that applied research, applied sciences and engineering in universities are considered more relevant to the industrial technology than the basic sciences. So that, look at the contribution here. Again, this is just the heading. So the title of the figure here, the impact of research and development activities on productivity. So if we look at total factor productivity, basic research contributes 8%, and this will feed into the product design, development and engineering, which is 31%. And so we're talking about, again, next subtopic will be, when we talk about innovation, there are two things: product and process. Product that we are going to produce, we want innovation in the product, and also the process of manufacturing or producing that product. So product, design, development, engineering, 31%. Here process design and development engineering, 21%. And that basic research fits into applied research by the companies. So there's a 22% contribution that fits into product design, fits into process design, and they have this arrow, and these technical services. This can come from consultants, and that's 18%. That's the breakdown for the contribution to total factor productivity. So in a way, we're seeing here basic research is very costly, but the contribution to really total factor productivity compared with applied research is only 8% compared with 22% in this diagram that's coming from applied research. So applied research is more directly related to total factor productivity. But we need basic research, and that's done by universities and government research institute mostly. So we have a next page. Okay. What are the sources for innovation in manufacturing? Uses percentage of firms ranking as a source of important uses, competitive situation, supplies is only little, so they listen to the users, to customers. Internal R&D, yeah, marketing, top management. Okay, that's not important. What is more important here? That's product and process development. Product development efforts face two critical needs. Number one, to shorten the cycle time. Companies are competing to offer better products. Better products. They want to shorten to less than a year, 6 months. So every 6 months, but usually every year. This is the normal, because it's costly to offer every model every 6 months, new model. So usually, and funny that October is usually the month the electronic companies like phones, they offer new model S23, S24, because October you have 3 more months, October, November, and December. People are buying, and December is the Christmas time. Companies don't want to miss that uh, that event, so that they can sell it. And it looks like October, like Samsung also and many car companies as well would launch a new model for the year in October or September. So to reduce the cycle time, if you cannot offer substantially new products more than a year, then that company fails to shorten the cycle time needed to produce marketable products and to maintain continual communication with customers and with other functions within and outside the firm that contribute to the successful product, new product. So these are the critical two things that firms must do. Second is process innovation. It's typically distinguished from product innovation as if they are truly separate, but they not separated. They are intertwined, connected with each other. In fact, the same technical advance typically is viewed as a product innovation by producers and process innovation by those using it. So I want to define what is process innovation. So product innovation is clear. The product itself, you want to innovate. Process innovation, I want to define this way. Innovation is a new way of competing. Let me repeat. Innovation is a new way of competing. So by saying that, I want to extend the meaning of process innovation to extend that beyond the factory, beyond the manufacturing of the product itself, beyond the production of the product itself, to incorporate the logistic in and logistic out. When I say logistic in, that's related to the coming of inputs. Inputs can be all the factors of production, and most critical is the components of the products, the parts and components of the product to be manufactured. So a new way of competing requires that you are better than the competitor in getting all those inputs more efficiently than your competitors at a more competitive price, better quality, and the whole process is efficient. That's logistic in. Logistic out refers to once the product is manufactured and done, what about the packaging? Packaging and marketing. Maybe you want to say packaging includes in the production stage. Yes, you can say that. So refers more to the marketing and logistic out, getting the products to the customers. So what I'm saying now, process does not refer only to the production, but also include getting the inputs and there's logistic in, getting the products to the customers. That's logistic out. And the whole thing, you must be efficient. Logistic in, production, logistic out. All the three, you must be efficient in all the three. Next, in order to move the R&D and the innovation, we need certain type of knowledge. And the mover of and shakers of innovation are the ones who are having certain type of knowledge which fits into what we say previously, firm specific advantage. Firm specific advantage. And that knowledge, it is usually tacit. So we have two types of knowledge, codified and tacit. We need the second one, tacit knowledge. Codified, certain breakthrough or technology, over time it becomes a standardized, it matured and it matures and becomes standardized. That's one way of looking at. That's another subtopic, cycle. But here we're talking about the knowledge has been codified. Codes here refer to the knowledge being written in whatever way, whether it's a code or scientific journals. So it is written such and such that other people, this is the most important part, other people can learn that. The knowledge becomes widespread, and codified knowledge usually is like manual. It is like manual, when you buy a TV, there's a manual how to use TV. It's like a manual. But codified knowledge, when we talk about technological change, we refer to the scientific journal, engineering journals. Certain findings are shared there in the journals. So these information are already codified. People can read, people can try to repeat the research and or just benefit from it right away for applied research and development. So this is codified knowledge. We need that knowledge too. However, the more important, and it's not replaceable, and it's not easy, it's not transferable as well, is the tacit knowledge. For example, once Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, he passed away in 2011. Passing away went together with him, the tacit knowledge, all the knowledge and experience inside his head gone with him. So that's what we call tacit knowledge. Oh, okay. This page. Now I'm on page 3. I can move this way. Yeah, the codified knowledge, usually it is documented. Yes, that's the word, documented. It's like manuals that codify it. These documents may be accessible, can be accessible, or comprehensible, can be understood only to repair technicians or others with adequate training, but still the information are already codified. The fundamental knowledge is that which remains in the heads of the technical and research personnel of the manufacturer of the enterprise, just like Steve Jobs. Bill Gates. The knowledge which they retain is tacit or fingertip knowledge as opposed to codified knowledge. Tacit knowledge flows primarily through informal networks, and those networks allow a firm to scan and to monitor both internal and external sources of knowledge. Codified knowledge is that which is tangible, you can touch, you can hold on to it, tangible in some way, usually in printed forms, such as in patent applications, in academic scientific papers. So here there's a diagram showing this is what we call generic diagram, generic categorization, generic. On the left, completely codified, completely tacit. That extreme, the two extreme, completely codified and completely tacit. And on the horizontal is whether privately owned or public. So in the case of Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs, where is it? It is here. Private know-how. Only he knows. Only he knew. Scientific papers like, university lecturers, university professors, they do research and they publish in journals. Here, it is fully disclosed and public. Not privately owned. Patents and copyrights is here. It is codified. And it is privately owned. Shared expertise is here. Completely tacit, but publicly owned. Even though those CEOs, they share, they, to the management, they share to the people. So it becomes a publicly owned. Next. This is a types of learning. Learning by doing, learning by using, learning by doing is example of Korea. Korea in 60s, 70s, 80s, learn by doing. Where is that location? On the shop floor. What is shop floor? Factories. Learning by using, learning by operating, learning by changing, system performance feedback, learning by training, learning by hiring, learning by searching, learning by trying, learning by interacting, learning by selling, learning from inter-industry spillover, learning to borrow, learning by failing. Another one is not listed here. Learning by imitation. So I want to say that China developed its technology at the beginning with the learning by imitation. And the same went for Korea as well. Learning by imitation of what the German and the Japanese did when it comes to automobile. Learning by imitation plus learning by doing. That's Korea. Learning by imitation and learning by doing. That's how it began. China, learning by imitation. However, lately, China has been strong as a contender. This challenging becomes a challenge for United States. The advance of China's technology is kind of the American presidents are looking at it as a confronting and challenging the prowess of uh, the tech prowess of United States, and that's why the conflict between the trade war, tech war between U.S. and China. U.S. wants to stop China from getting the latest technology, especially in the semiconductor microchips technology, with the fear that these advances in microchips and electronics technology, semiconductor technology, will be used in both applications, business and military. And this is what Trump and now Joe Biden, the president of the United States, trying to stop China. So here, what I was saying, the word appropriate, if you can see the word appropriate, even though it says here, should have been said much earlier when we spoke about the two types of research, basic and applied research, should have been said over there. An important element is the degree to which one can appropriate, can get the money from. That's what the meaning of appropriate. Can get the money from your efforts in R&D. So the degree to which one can appropriate or profit and get the return, monetary return from the technical knowledge. And that's why firms do not do basic research. The government, universities, and government research universities are funded by the government, will do the research. I'm trying to close other. This is slowing down my computer here. Okay. Next is product cycle. So at least product cycle, we must have at least three. At least you can have four, you can have five, you can have six, more detail. But the basic is that three. Product just being introduced and the products being sold and the increase in the market, and the product is maturing and declining. I want to go to the Telegram picture that I will share. I think we have this in the, yes, this one. No need to go to the Telegram. Yep. Yep. This is drawing that I made, but I cannot change it because it's a drawing, the picture that I took. I mean, I cannot change it to do the translation right there. So I will just have, will translate right here. Okay. This, in this graph, I combine FDI and location, basically the location of production. So this has to do with foreign direct investment and that location of foreign direct investment. So basic is 3, but here I make it 5. So this product life cycle and location of output having to do related to FDI. So, and here stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stage. Here location of production. Here where is the market. So stage, location, production, where is the market. And this is the stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the horizontal, and vertical is the production, comma, exports or net imports. So it's nicely done. Okay. First stage, product has been newly introduced, just introduced to the market. So location of production is domestic in the country. The market is also within the country. Before I go further, this product life cycle theory in a way explains how a country that was the first that introduced a certain product, introduced a country that was able in terms of capital and more importantly able in terms of technology. That country only had the technology at that time. So it explains that a product introduced by a country that had all the technology and capital to produce that product, today, in the end of this graph at stage 5, that same country that introduced the product now imports the product. In a way, let me repeat. Take, for example, United States or the UK or Italy or all these countries were the ones that introduced television, TV, to the market because they had the technology and the capital to produce, to manufacture TV, televisions. Today, America, the country that introduced TV, America is importing that product, television. So let's look at how this happened. Stage 1, just introduced to the market, location of production in the United States. The market is in the United States, all local and domestic. Stage 2, location of production, still in the country, in the United States, in the US. And now the products began to be exported. So the market is both domestic and exports overseas. So here's the production, total production. This is the consumption, and the extra is exported. Consumption, production. So this is export. So stage 2, production still locally in the US, and now they began to be exported. Stage 3, the product. And this is during the growth. And you notice here, it is a curve. It's not straight line. And it's like an S curve. S. This is during the growth. And when you get to the stage 3, that product is matured. Technology has become standardized. There's maturing. Matured. So this life cycle. Stage 3, FDI, foreign direct investment, began. Because it is the cost of producing the product is getting higher and higher in the country. So cheaper to produce overseas through FDI. So the location of production now, 2 locations. Domestic in the country, United States, and also overseas through foreign direct investment overseas. So 2 locations of production, domestic and overseas. The market, domestic, serving domestic, because production is still domestic and FDI, 2 locations. So the market is domestic plus the host country. The host country, the country that they went to invest, and plus outside of that host country. So here in the third stage, cost of production in the country, domestic, in the the home country, began to increase. So when you get to stage 4, that country has now lost the competitive advantage, has lost competitiveness. The cost has gone up, costly to produce in the home country. So the home country loses the competitiveness in the product. So doing FDI completely. So in terms of location of production, no more in the home country. Stop producing the product in the home country because it's no longer competitive. The cost is so high in the country, so completely outside. The production is overseas through FDI. And the market will be in the host country, serving the host country, plus outside of the host country, plus including own country. So if you want to refer to what I said earlier, when I stopped here, that I said before I go further, I want to say that the product life cycle theory explains how a product introduced by a country, now that country imports that product. So it began already in stage 4, but fully in stage 5. The country that was the original producer of that product now becomes an importer. So here, began here in stage 4 already. This. So stage 5, whether FDI or no FDI. Plus, now, why stage 5? The interesting thing about the stage 5 is that there are new entrants from developing countries. Firms from developing countries now joining as the producer as well as the exporter of the products. Just like in the case of Malaysia, uh, in 1990s, Malaysia was known as the number one exporter, almost number one. I think it was number one exporter of television. So at that time, not today's type of television, which is LCD. No, at that time was this during the what we call it during today digital. That was before digital. So Sony was the king of TV during that time, and Malaysia hosted a number of Sony's plant, JVC plant, also factories. I mean subsidiary factories here. JVC, Sony, Sanyo, all this. So Malaysia became number one exporter of TV. TV originally by the Western countries of United States, the UK, Italy. But TV now, these countries import. Coming from developing countries. So where is the production? In the developing countries. Where's the market? Global. So this is product life cycle. That was my drawing. Now we look at in a rather interesting perspective, look at a profit life cycle model. Just now we've been discussing product life cycle. We can also look at this profit life cycle. This is by Markusen. It's analogous to the product life cycle and clarifies several of its points. Context of industry. So here we begin. Okay, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5, just like what I did. 5. Again, let me repeat. Basic, you must have 3. You can have 2, cannot have 2, must have 3 at the very basic. Product just introduced, product matures, and product decline. Okay, 3. Product introduced, and with a sharp increase in growth, and the product becomes mature, and product decline. That's product life cycle. 3 at least. Profits. Okay, stage number 1, product just been introduced. The cost is still high, very high. So the profit is no profit, 0, or even negative. You have to spend money first. So during this introduction, no profit. And then second stage, you will have super profit. Now, cost decreases tremendously, sharply, went down the cost, and the sale and the growth period. This is the growth stage in the market. So company will enjoy the super profit. Stage 1, a product, the profit level of innovation in its initial birth and design stage is greatest shortly after introduction, and the super profit is stage 2, derives from the monopoly position held by the innovator, or in other words, the first mover advantage. Wheelwright and Clark suggest that a 6-month lead over competitors can triple the cumulative profits from a new product. Next is stage 3. And the profits per unit drop sharply as output approaches saturation. Saturations is product or industry follows the life cycle from low to high volume. A shakeout period ensues where competition shifts rather suddenly from product innovation to price, from skilled labor to capital-intensive production, resulting in the demise of firms unable to make this transition. So here, in stage 3, the cost has now become flatter, product has become saturated, product has now become, the market has been saturated, and technology has been standardized. So in a way, if you were following the product life cycle, products now becomes mature. The stage of maturation of the product, the market is saturated, and this is normal profit. Normal profit. Stage 4, the first stage is uncertain. Stage 4, not certain. In some industries, firm will be able to earn profits, whereas in other, competition eliminates all but the lowest cost producers. Indeed, negative profits prevail in the final stage. So here, the juncture whether can continue to sell and bring in revenue or too costly compared with other producer. So the lowest cost producer will win. So going down this way is negative profit revenue. Indeed, what I read just now, the fourth stage, negative profits prevail in the final stage. Negative profits. When large corporations disinvest and the sector becomes the domain mainly of small firms serving niche markets. So this is profit life cycle model, analogous to the product life cycle. This is profit life cycle, analogous to the previously product life cycle. And I mentioned much earlier the S shape, S curve. When something which is not linear, and in fact technological change is not linear. When something is not linear, during the initial growth, we see explosion in the market. Explosion meaning selling very well. And that takes the form of increasing the rate, which is exponential shape. And once it matures, it goes down and declines. That's what we call an S shape. From the moment it is introduced, flat, and goes up very quickly, and then maturing. Even before the decline, there's mature. That corner, that's the S shape. S curve. So generally production-based industrial sectors follow an S-shaped pattern. And this is a 4 worlds of production. Try to make it bigger. How can I zoom it? To zoom, make it bigger. I cannot find that button to zoom, even though it could be here. Yeah, oh, here. Is it working here? So this is another generic table. Generic table to generalize things. So technology of the production process, market conditions. So these 4 words of production: technology and market condition. So certain, which is predictable, uncertain, and economies of scope and variety, economies of scale. Economies of scale refers to the more quantity produced, the lower the average cost. That's economies of scale. Economies of scope and variety, the more you focus the scope, you're focusing on certain segment only, and also variety. You have variety. By focusing on the certain segment, you achieve the saving, you achieve the lower cost and higher profits as well through the scope of the products. Whereas economies of scale through the quantities, larger quantities. This is the scope, specialization. Let's look at the one is predictable and deriving from scope and variety is the world of innovation. Competition based on learning, evaluation of quantity based on internal scientific rules, flexibility based on quality and quantity, generic. This is the figure is a generic categorization. So generic and specialized products. This is the world of innovation, which can be predictable and it is based on scope and variety. Whereas the market condition for economies of scale, let's look at the ones having to do with predictable and certain. This is industrial world, competition based on price, evaluation of quality based on generalized industrial standards, flexibility based on quantity, and standardized product. So the products are standardized, like TV, radio. Everyone basically knows how to make. Every country actually basically knows how to make a TV, how to make radio, but it is a matter of latest technology, matter of capital that are stopping these countries. But the technology of making these products has been standardized, meaning that everyone can do it. That's what we mean by standardized. Given the capital, everyone can produce it. This is industrial world, predictable, but it is based on the quantity. The more quantity that you produce, you achieve economies of scale. And this one, market condition of uncertain, is Marshallian market world, competition based on quality, evaluation of quality based on satisfaction of buyers, flexibility based on quality and price, dedicated specialized products. The last one, which is economies of scale and uncertain the market condition. And we're going to focus in this class on this network market world. Competition based on price first, quality second. Evaluation of quality based on localized industrial standards. Flexibility based on quality, quantity, and price, dedicated but standardized products. We want to focus on this in this class in juxtaposition, in opposite from this corner, world of innovation, which is predictable and unpredictable. So we look at that one. On the other hand, the other side of the coin as well, we want to look at this way too. The Marshallian market world plus the industrial world. Marshallian is already, the market is uncertain. The four worlds of production. The pace of technological change has become more rapid in recent years, especially when viewed in terms of the life of products. Short product life cycles are a direct consequence of product differentiation strategy. Product differentiation strategy based on quality. That's how companies differentiate their products from other companies' product through quality. As product life cycles shorten, previous figure 2.8, only an innovative firm is able to earn large profits, since there is also little time for imitators to attain large-scale production and profitability before the product is replaced by the next generation of technology. So here, next generation, tech change that we're going to study in our final chapter, which is disruptive technology, our final chapter, has to do with one concept. We call it discontinuity. When there is an abrupt tech change with new breakthrough, the new breakthrough with new application, and that's the time or the point of a new technology that will change the competition. That's what we're gonna define in our final chapter in this class as the disruptive technology. So it will disrupt the current technology and all the firms that are competing based on that current technology. And this has happened. Nokia was the king of mobile phone. At that time, no, not yet smartphone, just the mobile phone during Nokia. If I were to assign to you assignment, if this were in 2010, 2011, Nokia would be a case study. How Nokia, but now Nokia becomes a case study of being disrupted away, and no more Nokia today, being disrupted by the new technology, which is the smartphone with touch screen and so on. That smartphone with Apple in 2007, Apple was able to capitalize as a first mover advantage, but not really first mover, because we're talking about two different operating system here. Apple is alone with the iOS, but Android is shared by many. Samsung is using Android. Android doesn't belong to Samsung, but many other companies using Android. So, however, Apple is alone. But Apple has its follower, especially in the United States. It's a big market. So there's two competing operating system. So is there going to be another operating system? That's what my one of the questions in my video assignment. So that video assignment was about China, US China tech war, that deals with broadly, well, not broadly, deals with the semiconductor microchips industry. Why microchips, advanced microchips, became the focal point? I want to say that the focal point of tech war between the United States and China, because today people are fighting, try to control, to get access and control of oil, because oil is used in cars, vehicles, and also heating, for heating, of houses, and for factories to run, use oil for energy and so on. The oil of the future is advanced microchips. This will become the oil of the future, advanced microchips. When we say advanced, we're talking about the nano size. Now, companies are working on 2 nano size, 3 nano size already. 2 nano size. Is it possible 1 nano size? Still in the making. Of R&D for that 1 nano size of microchips. So the focal point of focal point of US-China trade war, tech war, is the technology to produce advanced microchips, because whoever has that technology and can produce advanced microchips, they will become a great power economically. And what is being feared by United States is that this technology in advanced semiconductor, advanced microchips, feared to be dual use. For consumer products and for for consumer products as well as for military use. Why? The United States is doing the same thing. All these technologies are being input into the US technology for the military as well. But this is the prospect of advanced microchips technology or advanced chips go into the Chinese military has become a contentious point in this tech war because let us say claim that all these industries are under control of the uh, Chinese government as opposed to those United States. They are private firms, even though in China also private firms, but they are really under the control of the Chinese government. So here the a repeat of the fighting over ideology and geopolitics, everything, because whoever controls the technology of advanced microchips, because microchip is the oil of the future. Living in the digital world, everything will be run by the all these digital uh, gadgets, sensors, smart cities, IoT, Internet of Things. What else? With one thing, one critical central thing inside it, which is artificial intelligence. So AI, the digital future digital technology and applications will be feeded upon by the artificial intelligence. And to do AI, you need the advanced microchips that can run fast, low heat, lower energy consumption, and can do many things and fast. So that's the need for advanced microchips. And that's why the tech war has centered on that. AI, advanced chips. There's a terminology, legacy chip. 18 and above nano size is not advanced. You're talking about 7 nano size is advanced. 6 legacy is old one. So now we are, or there are many countries are trying to find a way how to master the technology to produce the advanced chips. So what the United States did was that in October or in August of in October 2022. Let me check, August or October. Don't worry about that. But in 2022, United States did a blockade the export control of equipments, technology plus equipments